Okay, you go.
All right. Can we return to our seats, trustees, please? Ready? Thank you for everybody's patience. Let's call our meeting to order. Wednesday, March 25th at 7:27 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mark Vance.
Here.
Dan Cheek.
Here.
Jeff Goings. Christy Richardson.
Here.
Aaron Zito. Dave Allgood.
Here.
Owen Costanza.
Here.
Sine Hubbard.
Here.
Ken Garrett. Chris Hopkins. Laura Goding.
Have a pledge of allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No phone participation. Everybody is present. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
Motion by Owen, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Tonight's agenda passes. All right. We have a motion to discuss and approve special board of trustees meetings minutes from February 16th, 2026.
Move to approve minutes from February 16th, 2026.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Dave. Any questions or changes or concerns? Barring none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Special Board of Trustee meetings minutes from February 16th passes. Motion to discuss and approve Board of Trustee meeting minutes from February 25th, 2026.
Motion to approve Board of Trustee minutes from February 25th, 2026.
Motion by Mark, second by Dan. Any question on these or changes? Barring none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Board of Trustee meeting minutes from February 25th passes. Motion to discuss and approve special Board of Trustee meeting minutes from March 4th, 2026.
Move to approve minutes from March 4th.
Motion by Sine,
Second.
second by Owen. Any question or concerns on these?
The workshop, right?
Yes.
Barring none, all,
Did you get, question,
yes, sir.
did you get any response back from members for any changes that they'd like to see to the budget?
I did not.
Nobody? Anything? Okay,
All I seen was a regular budget. I didn't see what you guys actually discussed.
right, because Dan wasn't here, because I'm not real keen on the pothole machine.
Okay,
Right,
that's
yeah.
not,
It's-
that's not right now.
Is that the hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to
Yep,
make sure, 'cause
yep.
I want to talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Barring any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, one abstention. I'm going to make a note here. Okay, meeting minutes from March 4th passes. Motion to discuss and approve Board of Trustee meeting minutes from March 11th, 2006.
So moved.
Motion by Sine, second by Dave. Any questions on these? Barring none, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Meeting minutes from March 11th passes.
Sorry.
Sine, Dave.
Thank you.
Yep. Any public comment? All right, but before we move on, I want to take just a moment for a point of privilege for myself. I just want the board to share with me and congratulate and thank our employee, Katie Jaster, on her 10 years of service with the village was actually yesterday. And to our residents. Katie has served in many roles throughout the years. Currently, she serves as our deputy clerk and our community development coordinator. I believe her to continue to be an asset to our community, and I just wanted to congratulate and thank her for her service.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you. Congratulations, Katie.
She's probably watching.
yeah.
Good job.
Well done, well
Yeah.
done.
All right. So, department reports. Wastewater, any questions on the wastewater report from Test? Okay, moving on. Any questions on the report provided by Public Works Director David Howe?
Yes.
Okay,
Can you advise us on where we're at with the old village hall and where we're at with the budget on it? I've heard that people have called about like our entire public works staff being there on days. and
yes, so the 100 South State Street is complete, to my knowledge. They have completed the renovations. And so they are under budget. I don't have the exact figure. I can be happy to share that with the board. So we are now, and I've actually put it on another agenda item so that we can continue to discuss on what we're going to do with it in the future. But it is complete and
You
ready.
know what all was gotten done?
So,
I haven't looked.
so,
I have not
so
looked.
inside, I was gonna take pictures. So everything, they actually gutted the entire floor. They took out all of the paneling that was in there. They replaced it all with sheetrocking. They removed one wall that was a non-structural wall. They framed out where the furnace is. They rerouted all of the hanging electrical work that was hanging in the bathroom. They put it actually back in the walls where they belong. They moved, there was a meter of some sort and some extra piping that got moved. They replaced all of the subflooring down to the studs and sprayed it, reset the entire floor, put in new flooring, repainted everything, did the ceilings, changed the lights, put up trim, and changed out all the doors and put new fixtures in the bathrooms.
So our public works guys rerouted all the electricity in there?
So they they moved a wire that was hanging and
Okay.
they changed out the lighting, all the lights that were there.
Which is permissible.
Okay, it said, I
Yep.
was envisioning gutting walls and rerouting stuff.
No,
That's
there
why I
was
asked that.
one wire that for
Okay.
some reason,
Okay,
whatever was
Not a big deal.
hanging into the bathroom, got put back and not hanging in the bathroom. So,
Okay.
so everything was, we pulled permits and inspections were done according to the code.
okay.
So, any other questions on David's report? Okay. I'll make a note to pass on the budget costs.
Real quick, did he send you the to-do list while he was gone?
Mhm.
I didn't get that.
All right, any questions for our collector and clerk? No? Okay. Engineering. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you. I just wanted to note there on the engineering report, we have activities starting from both Surf and Frontier Fiber Optic. They're going to start putting fiber optic in, within some right of ways and then using existing rear yard easements. And they're going to be going throughout the village. Just by the way this is going to work, they're both kind of starting in the same place. Their main data hubs are kind of like in the old section of village, and then they're going to branch out, right? So now you see where I'm going with this. Somebody's going to be in somebody's yard first, and then they're going to get done, and then somebody else is going to be in that same yard second, and they're going to dare up the yard, and you're going to get the call of, why couldn't they possibly, do all this as one effort? Well, they're two companies, they each have their own separate systems. They are able to use the easements for the purposes, they're bona fide utilities. So this is a utility easement. They're using the easements for the purposes that they are intended for, but it's not going to stop somebody from being upset that, within 2 weeks, their yard's going to get disturbed twice by two different companies. It's just the nature of the beast and the way the timing is going to work out. So, my good counsel to you would be just tell everybody this is the construction equivalent of ripping off the Band-Aid instead of it being taken off real slow. So hopefully, this goes once these crews get going, and they get into a rhythm and they're used to working around each other, it'll get better. But I think usually the first day is not the day to come out and see how things are going, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, just for them to establish, their working protocols. So public works staff will be working hand in hand with them. We'll be working hand in hand with them. But I do expect, you guys to get some calls. It's just the way it is.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions for Chris?
Should we maybe put something in our next water billing? Tell them
We also put it in the quarterly newsletter, and we'll be making a post too.
I put it on Good of the Village.
Yep. So we'll be doing our best to try to give our residents a kind of a forewarning of what's coming.
Yeah, and they're going to have, door hangers and signs in the neighborhood. And keep in mind, these companies are going to want to get customers. So they don't want to irritate anybody because that's not going to be a customer for them, right? So we've been through this in a few other communities, and it usually starts off a little slow and there's some problems, and then once everything gets established, there's a routine and things go better. But I do see the potential of just getting calls from back-to-back crews.
If you want, you can convince them to start in my yard. I won't complain.
10-4.
I have
Any
one
other
question? I'm going off memory here from when I read it. You had touched on the South Plant reduction, EPA reduction, and possible action need to be taken.
Yeah, actually, Aaron and I, after the meeting, we're going to kind of get some times from you guys to sit down and talk to you about that. So there's some things that have developed that we need to meet about.
Any other questions for Chris? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Motion to discuss sale land, the driveway next to Jilly Bean.
Move to discuss sale of land next to Julie Bean.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second, that was closed by Dan. Would you recap, Aaron, for us? Since I know your office took care of looking into this for us.
Yep. So this was brought up probably a few meetings ago. Originally, discussion about the fact that that driveway that services the building.
Turn on your mic.
Oops, sorry. Sorry, that driveway that currently services the old Jilly Beans building is located on village property there. So originally the conversation started with, well, what does the board want to do with that? Do we want to sell it to them? Do we want to give it to them? What is it? The concern being the fact that, you have people using that driveway. The residents in that building are parking on it, walking across it, using it, as a driveway. There's liability potential issues. Someone slips, falls, they're on our property. With that, likewise, who's responsible for maintenance then on that driveway? It's ours, but it's being used by the neighbors. So the conversation was started with, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to, sell it, give it, or tell them, no, you can't stop using our driveway there. Owen had brought up the fact that he had heard just, historically there, through the, I guess
It was Phil Long.
just talk, that there may have been an easement back in the day granted to the property owner next to ours that would allow them to use this driveway, granted them an easement to use the driveway. Went back and had a title search done on our property, our park property, and title search went back like to 1902 there. Nothing shows up as showing that there was any sort of an easement required or granted, excuse me. Also went and pulled the last few deeds for the apartment building property just to see, hey, maybe they accidentally recorded an easement incorrectly against that property there. Nothing shown in there. Checked all the deeds, checked those deeds. Wasn't buried in the deed that an easement, was referenced in any of the deeds. Certainly wasn't anything that was freestanding as far as a separate easement agreement there. So I think at this point, we have to assume that there's no easement. So we're back to the original conversation of what do you guys want to do with this driveway?
Pretty confident that was the entrance to the parking lot to the bank that originally sat on that corner.
Oh yeah, that was an old building. Yeah.
Yeah, there was original bank on the corner, so that both buildings were there existing. So that was really an alley, and I think it was the bank's entrance to the parking lot in the back. So it was their driveway, so it was part of that property, from what I recall.
So over the years, someone.
Yeah, because that was donated to the village, that property, so the driveway came with it.
Does
But that's what it was. That was an old bank there that went around the back to the parking lot.
Does this parcel have its own individual pin that's separate from anything else surrounding it?
So the apartment building has on its own pin. We have our park that's its own pin. The driveway is on our property, but right immediately adjacent to the apartment building.
It's on our property,
Right
Right in the lot line.
right adjacent to it.
Yeah, right on the
Yep.
lot line.
So the driveway shares the same pin as our rest of our property there.
Correct.
So there
we-
used to be a
so-
house on the other side, and I think they shared a driveway at one time.
Right, so this would be a situation where this is gonna have to be replatted, correct?
If the board wants to say, hey, we want to convey it to them, that strip of land, then yeah, we'll need to go through the process to, most likely subdivide this in some shape or form, and then, go through the process to convey the property, whether it's, well, we'd have to go through one of the conveyance processes for us to sell or dispose of real property. We'd have to declare it surplus and then go through one of the two processes to convey property, which would be first process to convey property is, you have to publish notice, basically a sealed bid, publish in the newspaper that we're selling this strip of land. Set a day to open all the sealed bids. Whoever is the high bid, typically then that's who gets to quote unquote buy it. The downside to that is you never know who's gonna bid. It's highly unlikely that anyone's gonna bid other than the neighbor, because what's anyone gonna do with a strip of driveway, right? It just doesn't make sense. So relatively low risk, but I bring that up just because that is a risk with that process. The other process that we can use to sell property is where you can sell it to whoever you want. You can deal directly with the person that you want to sell it with, but you got to sell it for 80% of appraised value. So you have to go get an appraisal done, and then they have to pay at least 80% of appraised value. So that both have its thorns. In my opinion, process one is probably the more applicable, or probably the better one for the village in this particular scenario, because it's highly unlikely that you're going to get some random buyer coming in to say, I just want to buy whatever strip of land right now.
Right, but I guess,
Excuse me, Mr.
I guess
Alden.
my point would be, we subdivide it, we go through the whole process, somebody bids $50, they're the high bid. We spent a lot of money going through the process so that this guy could have a driveway.
So it is also an option to say, obviously you would let that property owner know, hey, we're putting this up to bid. Make sure you submit a bid, write whatever dollar amount you want in there. Again, we don't know for certain that no one's going to come and outbid him, but you also typically with these scenarios, you reserve the right as the village to reject all bids. So in the rare situation that you get someone else that comes in and says, this property owner bids $50, the other person bids $51. Okay, I reject all bids then. And then we're back to, trying to figure it out. And you can also say that any winning bidder has to reimburse the village for all of its costs, including the newspaper publication costs, legal time to do this or that.
Well, that's one of my concerns. If you look at this photo, you can see they're using it as like a horseshoe. Solutions owns the other side.
No,
He
Solutions partitioned that off and sold it to him.
There used to be a house there.
So then,
Yeah.
I think what we should do, because they need access to along that building, we should cut our piece down of the driveway and not make it a driveway, make it a walkway so they can access their building. That way we're not losing part of the park. And then give them and have them sign some kind of an agreement where they'll maintain it and they have it into their insurance. Can they do that?
So you want to keep the land?
Yeah, why would we want to give away a park space?
Well, the reason it brought up is they wanted to rework it because it was causing flooding.
So if we take the concrete out and have it graded
Added
down
cost.
at their expense, if they want to comply with the agreement that we offer.
Is that concrete? I thought that was gravel there.
It's gravel.
No,
Yeah.
it's asphalt or concrete there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
concrete, you can see.
Yeah, I'm not real keen about, you had said that they want to make a horseshoe drive
Well,
around
look at
there.
it.
Yeah,
You
I
see
see
it
how they're
driving
doing
around.
it. They've been doing it.
Two
Yeah.
cars are headed to
Yeah.
the east and one guy's coming in from the west.
Yeah.
You can see the tracks going around from
Yeah.
the north side of the building. It's a horseshoe driveway.
So
Anybody
And
told
we
me,
need to eliminate traffic towards the park.
since he now owns it, anyone told him he's got to pave that?
yep,
the north side?
and he's been sent an NOV
Whoops.
actually. So
What is your thing? I didn't hear what you said, Owen.
I said, did anyone tell him he's got to pave the north
Yeah.
side?
Oh, he's
Yep.
gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
That,
it's been conveyed.
And then he would have to do something with the site too, if he bought it, but I think we should keep the park space, cut it down, and probably see if there's some kind of agreement we come to. Otherwise, we take it out and put grass there.
Can we grant an easement with restrictions and then not go through
Sure.
all of that?
Well, there you go.
Yep.
We just grant him an easement to use that. And then we're not spending money on surveys and everything else and appraisals and legal
Spend
fees.
enough on legal.
By the
Yeah, spend
time
a
we're
little
done,
more,
we're
and why don't we
talking
just ask for the fees. for
5,000
legal
expenses for $50 driveway.
Right.
And I'm not all about
Right.
the
So I
residents of
just-
the village paying to
That-
give somebody a driveway.
And then this way we can restrict the usage of it and say no circle drive.
Yeah, no circling driving, but
I don't know.
I don't think we should give it up.
I don't either. I
really don't.
yeah, I don't either. But I don't mind letting them use it. They've used
No,
it
I
for
don't mind letting
years.
them use it.
I don't want to, be the new landlords and say, hey, get the stuff out.
Yeah, you need to
yeah.
stop doing it as a horseshoe driveway.
Yes.
Okay, so.
How about this, too, and if you do go that route, they would have to provide some sort of barrier, be it arborvitae's, or,
Yeah.
So they can't drive around.
well, no, we can't see it through the
Yeah.
park.
Well,
Some sort of
yeah.
visual barrier.
Chrissy was talking about putting a fence of something up
Yeah,
there
it's-
anyway.
it's plant life, it's foliage. Yeah, it is. It's a natural foliage line that we had.
If we don't sell it to them, we grant them the easement,
Tell him he's got to do
ask
it.
them if they would
Yeah, I like that idea, Dan.
provide it.
Yeah, they should provide that, and then they're gonna have to pay the other side.
Okay, so what I'm hearing right now is that a majority of the, not a majority, we have 3 members of the board currently who believe that we should keep the property, look at at granting an easement with restrictions, including some sort of foliage barrier. That's what I'm hearing.
Unlimited easement so that he can make whatever repairs he needs to make without having to fuss with us. Is that what we're talking?
Just an easement. It's just gives them the right to continue using it. That's all. And has to put up a natural barrier.
But you
We
need
probably
to
wanna
take
consider-
Their responsibility if anyone's injured on the
For
property.
maintenance.
That we can just get an additional insured for the easement. We can put that into the language.
An easement's one thing, but maintenance is another. And, if somebody has
Sure.
exclusive use of something, I would like for them
He
to
should
be
maintain it.
responsible for the
Absolutely.
maintenance.
Yeah,
No
that's
problem.
great. I agree.
Jeff, you mentioned something about skinnying down the width
Well,
or
I think if I thought there was an access door to that building over there for the apartments.
There is.
Right,
There is.
so I'm saying, if we needed to cut it down the driveway, we'd have cars there. But if they could put up arborvitae, and that would separate the park from their this driveway permission easement, and then otherwise just put a walkway, cut.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to take it away from them.
Well, they said something about flooding, and it's probably from the concrete, from the old driveway that was there for the bank, like Dan said. That's probably what's causing their flooding. If they took that concrete out, it's naturally gonna flow easier to the dirt and absorb through and, go away.
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer though, I'm just saying, Chris.
So let's
pay
see.
attention.
Let's see how the easement. Let's how the easement sits with them.
okay, we'll go back.
Chris likes to be an engineer.
All right,
Did you stay at a Holiday Inn?
so,
Did you stay at a Holiday Inn last night?
all right, any other questions or concerns before we move on?
Anything from our engineer?
Doesn't sound like it. All right, moving on. Motion to discuss and approve RFP for removal and storage of abandoned vehicles.
Move to approve RFP for removal and storage of abandoned vehicles.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Dan. All right, so we had talked about the situation when we addressed the parking ordinance, and the board had asked for an RFP. This has been prepared for your review. There's just a few yellow areas that need actual timelines for us to put in there. But if the board agrees to what they see, then we can approve it and we can get it out.
Was this as big as our last one? I don't remember the contract.
only did snow last time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. It was just snow. I was gonna say, man,
This
it's
is everything.
yeah, it's rather involved compared to the last one.
I will note that there's a blank for whoever the successful bidder is as to how long this contract duration would be. I don't believe that this contract though could exceed the existing term of the mayor. So,
That's stated, isn't it?
yeah, so you could do a 1 year, 2 year, just can't exceed whatever's left on the mayor's term.
3 years, 3 years and a month.
Well, we should maybe in the mayor's terms.
Okay.
Okay.
I think.
Board, do we have Any objections to that?
Nope.
No? How long do you want the
Why do this
RFP to
more
go
often
out
than we
for?
have to?
Yeah.
Typically, an RFP goes out for 30 days. Is there any objection to that?
No.
Okay. All right, so we need, this is money, so we have a roll call, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay, barring none, roll call, please.
Jeff Goings.
Yes.
Owen Costanza.
Yes.
Sanae Hubbard.
Yes.
Dan Cheek.
Yes.
Mark Vance.
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve RFP passes. All right, on to new business. Motion to discuss and approve Bel Air North performance bond requirements.
Motion to discuss or approve Bel Air North performance bond requirement.
Motion by Dave, second by Sine. Okay, so in your packet, I wrote a memo just to kind of summate where we're at. So there's been some discussion on the bond requirements that are necessary for a subdivision completion. And Mr. Thomas and the airport is asking for some relief in reference to the taxiway portion of that in their bond. I'm sure that Chris and Ken can better convey the code than, and Aaron can convey the code better than I can, but I just wanted to kind of preface the summary of what you have in your packet. So who would like to go first?
So I can give, I'll give the quick high level overview, right? So, a plat's been presented. It has, by Mr. Thomas here. It shows certain improvements, on the property, some of them public, some of them private, improvements. Your typical, stormwater, utilities, stuff like that are shown there. But then you have the private, these taxiways that are improvement that are shown, on the plat as well. Normally then, with the plat, you have to provide a surety of some form, to ensure that the improvements that are shown on the plat are completed. It's that same concept that you just talked about in the previous discussion about, with the surety, it can either be cash, it can be a letter of credit, or it can be a performance bond. So those are your typical types of surety. If the developer doesn't complete the improvements, then the village has a bond that it can tap, or that surety that it can tap in order to complete those improvements there. This basically boils down to a situation where, because of the way that our code is written, our code says that all improvements that are shown on the final plat are subject to being covered by the bond. Okay. And so, that is, staff's, interpretation of the way that our code is written. Mr. Thomas's, attorney has proffered a different interpretation, saying that the only things that should be covered by the bond are the, public improvements and not so therefore it would not include the taxiways, there. The impact of that is obviously then is how much of a bond, or letter of credit amount are you talking about? If you were to include the taxiways, you're looking at a letter of credit or a performance bond somewhere in the neighborhood of 700,000 to 800,000 ish.
Yeah, this is an issue to be settled a little bit later, but there's two numbers floating around right now for the bond. So one, it's really the cost to complete the improvements. What's left to finish the improvements is what the bond needs to be for. So everything that they've done that we've observed and has been put in the ground, we don't need to carry a bond for that because it's done. The work is done. There's no reason to provide that protection. So we're really talking about what's left. What's left is, doing some miscellaneous grading work, doing some miscellaneous pond work, doing probably the paving is the biggest portion of what's left. Yep. And seeding. Yep. Restoration. And so Aaron hit on this. The wording of our ordinance is a little troublesome in that it's one section and it references the plat. Well, clerk was just bringing the plat around and you don't see improvements on the plat. The improvements are really contained within the engineering plans. And so we're sitting in front of you now because we've got some wording that we need to clean up. I think we got to do some cleanup work to the subdivision code. The intent of the code is a little bit in doubt as well. It says all things, but we've seen subdivisions go in, and I'm sure you guys have seen subdivisions go in too, where there's a clubhouse built, for example. Would that clubhouse be covered by a letter of credit that it was, used for private purposes or used by the homeowner association, run by the homeowners association, would that count as a private improvement or would that be a public improvement? That's wide open for interpretation. You know, there's not a right or wrong answer there depending on how it's being built. You know, there's the public improvements, you know, we generally think of those things that are in the roadways, the water, the sewer, the curb, the gutter, the pavement, the sidewalks, so on and so forth. But to create the subdivision, there's work that's done also on private property. There's grading work that has to be done. There's ponds that have to be put in, and those are also typically on private property. There's pipe that connects the sewers in the street to the ponds. So there's a bigger question. My point of saying all this is there's kind of a bigger question that we need to answer. We don't want to do that tonight. We want to get Steve, you know, an answer and you know, move merrily on our way. So we need to understand what it is, you know, the board wants to have insofar as a letter of credit, what that's going to cover. You know, this subdivision is just a little bit different animal than most in the fact that it has taxiways. You know, you don't find subdivisions with taxiways in them very often, right? So, you know, the question really is, are those taxiways, as I think that's the bulk of what we're talking about, Steve, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's the bulk of what we're talking about. Do those taxiways, does the village want to hold a surety, a letter of credit on those taxiways to make sure that they're done, or do you not want to do that? That's really the question in front of you.
My position on this is the taxiways are owned by the property where the taxiways sit is owned by the airport. That area is maintained by the airport now. That area will be continued to be maintained by the airport. The taxiways that are illustrated on the plat, that wasn't just an idea or a dream that somebody came up with. There was a lot of time and expense and hassle with the state and other entities to create that, to create a safe environment for the adjacent properties. To my knowledge, there is no infrastructure going in under those taxiways that we would ever be responsible for. I haven't heard anything about problems with the taxiways causing runoff onto any other property that the village may be in a situation to deal with. And these taxiways do not connect to any of the public infrastructure at all. So I mean, the only thing that's a little different here is the wording in the ordinance. If somebody has a 5-acre parcel and decides to put in, you know, a 400-foot driveway, would we make him bond it? Do we make him even permit it? No, we don't, right? We may make him permit it, but we don't make him bond it. This is an improvement that, you know, that the airport should be responsible for, and that we shouldn't, I don't think we should be involved in that. I really don't. If our ordinance needs to be corrected to reflect that, that's what we need to do. We need to protect what the village is going to be responsible for. I don't think that we need to go beyond that and insist that he protect his assets by posting, you know, sureties or bonds or lines of credit with the village. I mean, if he doesn't put in the taxiways, he's not going to ever sell them lots. That's just the bottom line. That's not going to happen. So performance on it, yes, they're going to have to be performed. Is the village ever going to have to plow them taxiways? I can tell you right now that airport's going to remain in the family for generations, and we will never put a plow on them, on the taxiways or them runways, ever.
Blake's favorite job, isn't it?
Other
Second
questions?
favorite. He likes mowing the ditches more.
I guess, I don't know if we have it on record. Was the original Bel Air, was there a bond on those taxiways? I don't know if there's any way to investigate that.
I don't think that's really pertinent for what we're trying to do now. It doesn't.
I don't think we need to go backwards on this. I think
Well, I'm
we
just
just
saying,
need,
if
we
we
need
didn't-
direction go forward.
If we didn't bond them before, why would we bond them now?
It's common sense. Why would we want to put a bond on something?
Well, yeah, I agree.
We're not going to maintain it.
We're not.
It's common sense.
So,
But it's, I'm saying, it's been done before.
okay,
So my question was,
two
was it
part
bonded before?
to sum up, right? So the first one is that it sounds to me like the board is comfortable granting relief on the authority for the taxiway portion of what's remaining in the Bel Air North subdivision. is that
Yes.
how I
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The second part of this then is we also, and we can bring it back, but we need to adjust how the 935 subdivision portion is written, so that, in the future, we have some level of definition and determination between a public and a private improvement, for what we collect surety on.
Well, let's, we're going to discuss that later or
Right.
now, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is unique.
Very.
A subdivision's not going to have a lot of private, this is a unique situation. Why
I
should we
agree
change
with
the
you,
code?
Owen. This is a different animal than
Yeah,
what we're
I mean,
used to seeing, but that said, we're sitting here because
We
the
can interpret-
subdivision code is written in a certain way.
Right.
And so we need to, the whole idea of having the surety, right, is so that everybody's protected. So you buy a lot in a subdivision, you can build your house on that lot at the end of the construction of the subdivision. That's what it's really meant to do. It's meant to protect everybody. So, to what extent that protection occurs, we can talk about that, overall later on. But we do need to tweak that language, actually a little bit more than tweak the language. We need to redo that language to make sure that it's clear that what we should be carrying a letter of credit for, because I can't sign that plat until that letter of credit is delivered and Aaron's office has approved it. And right now, Steve's waiting to get utilities in the ground. The utilities are reluctant to come until the plat is signed. So, we want to obviously keep this moving.
I did have a question though. This isn't public though, right?
You're
The
correct.
taxiway. So I don't understand.
It's just the wording in the code.
It's the
Sure.
wording of the subdivision code.
Wording in the code.
Yeah,
So
it's
what-
the wording in the
Take my
ordinance.
car and drive on this taxiway.
Right, exactly. So, look,
You might chase you.
You might shoot him.
so there are improvements that are done within a subdivision that are done on private, what will ultimately be private property, right? So the grading of the lots, for example, where I'm going to build my house, that's being done right now as part of the subdivision. It's part of the cost. But that, somebody else is going to mow that lawn. Somebody else is going to shovel that driveway. Somebody else is going to take care of that property. It's not about the maintenance responsibility long-term. It's really about what is included in the public improvements that we need to carry a surety for, so that at the end of the day, that subdivision is built. And if I bought a lot in that subdivision, I'm able to put my structure on it.
Right. And again, I think we hear loud and clear that for purposes of Mr. Thomas, hey, he doesn't need the post bond for the taxiways. For the subsequent discussion, just to kind of give you guys where we're headed with this, I'll give the example of, and again, I'll use the taxiways, right? This subdivision is going to be designed in a certain manner, right? And it's going to drain in a certain manner, right? And part of that drainage is going to say, hey, that taxiway is going to be here. You're going to level the ground. You're going to do whatever it is. You're going to put a taxiway there, and then you're going to properly drain off of that accordingly, right? Now, if that taxiway is not put in, that mucks up the whole drainage plan from the get-go. Using Chris's example of another situation, right? Storm detention, right? That's on private property. A detention pond is usually in the neighborhood, is private. It's owned by the HOA, right? But at the end of the day, we require that detention pond, even though it's going to be private, it's got to be performance bond, because if the developer goes belly up or doesn't finish it, I need a bond to put the detention pond in, because otherwise the drainage doesn't work for the whole subdivision, right? So those are the things that we need to talk about when we redo this subdivision. Again, I'm taking it out of the context of Mr. Thomas. We hear the marching orders on that, but this is the sort of stuff that we need to clarify in the ordinance, because right now our ordinance says all improvements.
Let me ask you this. From start to finish, how long do you think this will be before it's finished? How long do you have to carry this bond for? Maybe that's a better question. Is it a 5-year, 10-year?
Oh,
So yeah, I think we have a schedule. I don't recall what it is, Steve. We wanted a certain amount of time to go by before we put the surface on those roads to make sure we don't have any settling. And I don't recall what that timeline is, but that's probably the furthest thing. The code does require a bond to be carried for the first year of the subdivision improvements as well, and it's like 10% of the overall cost or something like that. So there's language in there for that 1-year warranty period as well, which that's fairly typical.
And you'll still carry the bond for the sewer onto the private water capture areas, things like that, right? You'll still have the bond cover for this drainage the runoff into the retention ponds.
The detention ponds are all.
Oh, they're already.
They're in.
done. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The storm sewers and waters.
All that's it.
Yep.
Sewers in. We don't have much to do.
Yeah, good.
We have village.
Right.
That's their blacktop, lot grading, seeding.
Yep.
Some grading work off.
Yep, Steve, to Aaron's point, we'll need a breakout, because right now we don't have a breakout of those taxiways, the cost of those taxiways versus the other improvements, because, there's just one paving item. So we don't know how much paving is, so you need to have ARC break that out for us, please. Okay, either or. Yep.
Okay, so the motion was to discuss and approve, so
So, Chris, did you have something?
No, I was waiting for her.
so with that being said, do we need to do a vote?
Yeah, so who made the original motion?
I made the motion.
Yeah.
And who did the second?
Sine?
Sine. Mr. Algo, do you want to amend your motion such that that your motion is to
Exclude the taxiway.
exclude the taxiways from the performance bond requirements?
Yes.
Sine,
Is that what you want me to
Sine, would you be willing to amend your second? Okay.
No,
The
second,
tag-
Would you like me to put it in long form?
No, that's all right. Go ahead and do a roll call.
I will.
All right, roll call, please.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Mark Vance, Jeff Goings.
Yes.
Okay, motion to exclude the taxiway portion from the Bel Air North performance bond requirement passes. All right, and I will bring this back for the wording, okay, at next meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll put it on the next one. All right. Moving on. Motion to discuss and approve check disbursement for payment scheduled to be paid March 26, 2026 in the amount of $667,118.47 in AP checks, $24,836.80 in EFTs, and an estimated payroll of $21,112.18 for a total of $713,067.45.
Move to approve total disbursements of $713,067.45.
Motion by Dave.
Second.
Second by Mark. All right. Any questions on this one? It's big. It's got lots of bond payments in it. It's got the last of the MFT stuff that had to be done. So that's why it's as large as it is. Any
Big bonds.
questions?
Rock and roll.
Okay, barring none.
610, I think.
Roll call. Yeah. Performance bonds are high.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Mark Vance, Jeff Goings, Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Dan Cheek.
Yes.
All right, check disbursement in $713,067.45 passes. Motion to discuss and approve Resolution 2026-15, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, approving an engagement agreement with Lauterbach and Amann LLP for financial audit services. Motion by Jeff.
Second.
Ooh, Jeff, second by Dan. It's close. All right, so as you know, it's almost the end of our fiscal year and we do our audit. So I've been able to repair the relationship with Lauterbach and Amann from previous concerns. And we worked real well together last time. So I would like to bring them back for the next consecutive audits while I'm still mayor and with the board's consent. So there are any questions about that?
Are these, is this the same firm as last year?
Yes, sir.
How many consecutive years have they done this audit?
As long as I've been here,
Yeah. Wow.
but there's not many left around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
We
a
can't
CPA
use-
shortage, and there are municipalities right now who can't even get their
Yeah, we
audits on
can't.
schedules right now.
Sick of just doing our stuff, so we can't use them.
Yep.
And the state's so
And-
far behind.
Whipley would be the only other option, and they're shorthanded too.
I'm not looking at options. I'm looking at history, and if
Yeah.
it's been 10, 11 years and we haven't had a problem or issue,
Nope, they've been
then,
fantastic.
then I think we could.
Yeah, they were really great last year to work with. Yep. And they work really well too with Sickage, so it's been nice. Yes, sir.
So I will say that I don't have an issue with going with Lauterbach and Amon. There, that said, I will note for the board so that ultimately when this contract is up, you guys may want to have that conversation, because it is recommended that every so many years you do change auditors and you cycle through them just so that you have a different set of eyes. And then after that auditor finishes their cycle of 3 to 6 years or whatever it is, then you cycle again there. You know, there aren't many, right? So you're looking at Whitley or Benning Group, Lauterbach, or Sickage.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't use Sickage right now.
Sickage, yeah.
So, but again, just to keep that in mind, that it shouldn't be something that you guys just keep doing in perpetuity. They're just keeping the same one there. So,
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Owen Costanza.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-15 passes. All right. Motion to discuss and approve Resolution 2026-16, a resolution to include compensation paid under an IRC Section 125 plan as IMRF earnings.
Move to approve 2026-16.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Dave. All right, so the Village of Poplar Grove got to participate in its first and ever IMRF audit. And so, well, and now at this point, they'll cycle every 2 to 3 years. But this was the first time they've ever been done. What was discovered with that is that, so your Section 125 are your health insurance, vision, dental, those wages have been included when calculating the IRMF portions into those accounts. And so the spreadsheet that I put gives you the differences that you can see. Now, from what I understand, we have always done it that way since the inception of us participating in IRMF. If we were to so choose to continue to do that, IRMF has told us that the best way to do that is to pass a resolution including these Section 125 wages to continue. There had been some question, and I don't know that I got an answer from Roxanne as to whether or not this can be retroactive, which is what IRMF suggested back to 2021. If the board chooses not to do that, which is perfectly fine too, if that's what they choose, then what will happen is that myself and Sickage will have to go back 4 years and adjust all of the IRMF wages based on these new calculations and taking out the Section 125 items. So,
What's the cost difference?
so if you look at what's in your packet,
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
yep, that's okay. So what you see so there's two parts to this, right? So we have the the portion that's paid by the employee and the portion that's paid by the employer, us. Anyway, what that basically means is that we have overpaid into the IRMF benefits and the employees have overpaid into their IRMF. And you can see the cost differences on the screen. So between the two, you're looking at $2,800. What will happen if the board chooses for us to go back and do the wage adjustments is that IRMF will give us a refund, and then ultimately we will also have to refund the portion that has been overpaid by employees back, because they would normally get that back in their checks. So that's what will happen.
Is that taxable or non-taxable? Just kidding.
Uh, Theirs, it is,
Well, if they got refunded
Tax.
money, it'd be
Yeah.
income.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they do tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess,
so,
isn't it,
so
I mean,
they-
in long terms, it's beneficial to them, you know, for retirement.
Right.
How do they feel?
But they're losing more of their paycheck and we're contributing more.
so that's the other item though that should be noted there is if you guys adopt this resolution and say, hey, we're going to go forward now, we're just going to treat this as we're going to continue to make these overpayments, right? That's the way it's going to be now. That's rather than kind of go backwards and undo it and do the refunds and all that sort of stuff. Once you make the decision to go this route by adopting this resolution, you can't change it again. You're doing this forever, go forward.
Shouldn't we ask the employees what they want?
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's how we determine their wages to be, to be
Well, I know,
done.
but they're contributing too,
Yeah.
but maybe they don't want to contribute. That should be an option to them. 'Cause it almost sounds like that we've been taking their money without them knowing, which we weren't knowing at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's not really that we're taking it. What we've done is we've added extra to their retirement based on this assumption that I'm not sure why it was ever made that way to include these wages.
Right.
But it has been done that.
Right, because right
Since the
now,
beginning.
when they pay for insurance, when they contribute to insurance, right, many communities don't treat that as
Wages.
income, right? And then ultimately we contribute to their retirement based off of what their wages were. So by counting what they pay towards insurance as wages, it inflates their income number, and when we pay off of that there, so this resolution will say, well, this will set then say, well, that's how we're going to calculate it. Okay. There, it's not how many communities calculate it, because many communities don't treat the insurance contributions by the employee as income to them, and therefore as a village, we're not paying on that as far as the contribution goes to their retirement there. But again, it's a policy decision for you guys to make as to what you guys want to do go forward. So it's not about taking money out of making someone pay something, Jeff. It's the fact they're already paying towards their insurance there, but now we're taking that number. Let's say someone contributed $500. We're treating that $500 as if it's income to them. So now they made $50,000 was their salary, right? They paid $500 towards insurance. So now their salary is $50,500. We pay retirement based off of now $50,500 as opposed to just $50,000.
Yep. And that's what you see here in this spreadsheet, right? So you see the difference when it's calculated both ways, what was actually reported, and then what it should have been if we take out the section 125, which leaves. No, this is for last year. This is for all of calendar year 2025.
So question, would our staff have to go back and redo their taxes then, or amend their taxes?
That's a good question. In some cases, that might be a possibility. Yeah.
I don't know that answer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're giving it to them in this year, they earned that money in this year, so it would be, they wouldn't have to amend anything, because
Right, for the current, but you have to go back 4 years.
Yeah,
but
4 years.
we're
right?
still giving it back to them in this
year.
this taxable
get you.
year,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't
It
have
is
to
a
go back.
It is a possibility that they would have to go back 4 years and amend their taxes or have somebody look at it. possibly.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, we can always make this as of January 1st, 2027 too.
Not according to the IRMF people.
No.
We have to make a decision and respond.
Yeah.
Yes, we can't continue on. Yeah.
Contributing and then changing it at the beginning of the year.
No.
No.
I think it almost seems like we need some feedback from the employees.
Well, it's a matter of law and policy. It's not.
Well, because they're contributing too.
Well,
We're not taking away their contribution.
right.
Yeah,
We're adding. We've added.
if anything,
I understand that.
What they.
Yeah, and they always have, so the employees always have the ability to add additional monies
Oh.
to their IRMF. Okay, so that we're not taking away that particular portion by any means. We've just naturally been doing that for them in this particular case, right? So, but they always have the right to add additional monies to any.
Right.
Yeah.
What would our legal recommend for us to do?
this is a policy decision for you guys. At the end of the day, what I am reiterating to you guys though is the vast majority of communities do not treat their contributions to health insurance or whatever as income.
Yeah, it makes sense.
On them. We have, so unfortunately we've walked down that path. Now we can go backwards and say, hey, that we don't want to do it that way, go forward. We're going to have to undo a bunch of stuff, and it's going to be painful and it's going to be difficult, but we can do it, right? And go backwards and undo that. And then go forward. We're going to be like everyone else where we don't count those contributions towards insurance as part of their income. Now, if we don't want to do that, then the alternative is we're going to say, all right, now we're going to just continue to do what we do, which is treat your contributions to health insurance as part of your income. And then because your income is what I will say is artificially inflated, we pay IMRF based off of that inflated number. So now go forward forever and a day, the village will always be paying a higher number than what their true IMRF based off a higher number than what their true income is. That's up to you guys to decide if that's what you want to do.
Okay, so if the biggest portion that you need to look at is the far box of where it says different, paid by employer. That is the number.
That's for everyone.
Yes, this is
$184
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is a year.
Yes, this is for the last of calendar year. That is correct.
So what would you like to do?
That's the increase or that's the contribution?
That's what
That
we-
is right now is the over
overage.
amount we have
overage.
paid.
Overage, the overage.
Yes, the extra that we have generously given to our
I don't need you to
employees.
tell me.
1462 for one person, 9215 for another.
Right.
And the highest number here is 339. So
Yeah. So, and obviously it's
it's
dependent because on whatever their insurance statuses
Right.
are,
yeah,
right?
so
So, and I will state just that for the record, that Trenton and Carey's are lowered because they started those positions, those full-time positions with benefits later in the year. So that number could potentially be higher by probably could be $600. So you're looking at like 2,100-ish, $2,200 difference in the year over year.
Well,
Right. Well, I
figure
mean, when
this-
you
this
sum
is-
it, like if in perpetuity, like that's a number, right? So,
Yeah, look over it for the future.
Well, this administration, you figured elected officials, $13,000 pay cuts, so I mean, 1,500. It makes up for that and then some.
so, and the cost other consideration too is the time that it will take to undo, if that's what the board so chooses, for us to undo
And the
that.
potential, like Mark had
So,
said.
which we will do
potential
if that's what the
tax
board so chooses, but that is a cost expense as well.
So it could negatively impact their income taxes for next year.
I think so, yeah.
So it could.
This
It's-
early in
but
the
I,
year?
not huge.
Gotta go back
no,
4
it's
years.
minimal amounts though.
Yeah,
These
it's-
dollar amounts. I kind of feel like this. So our board has been fixing a lot of things,
Yeah.
and I kind of feel like we should do it right.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
unfortunately, I know it's going to be a lot of work. I'm sorry, Carrie, but
It's okay. Just
I
be
just
me and
feel
stick it. We'll
like
figure it out.
it's just my opinion too. So I'm just one person, but I feel like we should do it right.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I think we should do it the proper way like everyone else.
Okay.
It's down the road, it costs you like 20 years, 50, 60 grand. Yeah, look at long term.
Is there an estimate on how many hours? I guess it doesn't matter, right? I mean, doing it right. is doing
I
it
don't.
right,
I mean,
so.
it's just going to be what it's going to be, and
Yeah.
we're going to pay the hourly rate, for it.
Yep.
So
Is there? A
I'll try
time-
to hedge my bet as much as I can by doing the work on behalf of the village and then sending it to Siggage for review. That'll
Yeah.
save the taxpayers as much money as possible, because I don't pay out at $185 to $385 an hour. So,
It's gonna save the tax.
well, on top of that, but as well.
You should just send it to them, and I'm sure they've had to deal with this before.
Well,
she's saying
I'm-
she's trying to save.
Yeah.
I know.
Costing is
No,
money,
this is
but
a good catch. We
it
didn't know.
is. It is.
So.
When do we start planning?
Do we have a deadline on when we have to decide?
So yeah, according to if you look at the finding and recommendations, 3/26 is the due date. Now, I've already told IRMF that I needed a smidgen more time, so they gave me till April 1st.
to make the
that's a generous-
decision,
Yes, wasn't it?
or to make the
So-
reconciliation. Oh,
Yeah,
They don't have the sense of humor down there.
yeah. So,
They don't.
so it sounds like to me, that the board wishes to correct the error going forward. So, we're not interested then in approving the resolution. So in the vote, it just should be no, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So does everyone understand?
Yep.
All right. So then we'll do a roll call.
Mark Vance.
Yes.
No, you want to say
Or
no?
no.
No. Do you want to
You don't wanna approve the
include, or
resolution.
do you
I
want
want to do what
exclude?
what Sine had offered and what you did.
Okay, so that would be a no vote,
So
sir.
you're not approving this resolution.
Don't send me first again.
Okay. Duly noted.
So that would be a no vote. Okay.
Yeah, oh,
continue.
no.
Okay.
Dan Cheek.
No.
Sine Hubbard.
No.
Owen Costanza. Jeff Goings. Dave Allgood.
Okay, resolution 2026-16 fails. All right, then we will correct the errors and I will report back to the board when that is completed and done. All right, before we go on, do you want to step out before or after we make the motion, Aaron?
I can step out now.
Okay. We're gonna wait for Aaron to step out, yes.
Yeah, I am conflicted. I am conflicted. on this.
Please use your microphone, Mr. Olga.
Yeah.
For the record, Aaron Zeno and Laura Goading are leaving at 8:27.
Do you want us to stick around?
No.
for adjournment?
No. Please feel free to go
Good
home.
night.
We appreciate you very much. Thank you.
I expect drinks to be waiting.
Sure, come on by the house. I'll be eating dinner.
Can we post that address again?
I'll
Can I go too, so
I'll follow up,
become a conflict?
I'll follow up. Okay, Aaron? I'll follow up.
Yeah.
No, you take your time. Like everyone, it's already 8:30. Everybody's good, right? This is it. We're gonna go out with a bang, right? This could be awesome.
I'm too tired.
Oh, come on.
You wanna get me all fired up?
You know? No.
You're
Mike, we could stop you. All good. Mike, we could stop you.
You should probably take one, I think, or two.
I need to take like 3
Okay, take three. Get you some water or vodka.
vodka.
Okay. I got it.
Let's enhance the pain medication,
I
please.
got it in the car.
Do you also want,
Well,
for the
thanks for
record,
stopping by.
that Darren is our conflict?
Darren Burke.
Go look at the end of Hill Street.
Okay. Is coming in as conflict counsel at 8:28. Just so that I remember when I have to.
Yeah.
Maybe we're as far as I'm concerned.
Welcome, sir.
Invite you all. to
Sorry,
look
I
at
didn't
it
get a
for
Barrett
yourself.
Schweitzer plaque. Gotta.
I can make it.
All right. Do we have a motion to discuss and approve the new Leaf Development Agreement?
Move to discuss or approve the new leaf development agreement.
Okay, motion by Owen.
Second.
Ooh, second by Dan. We're racing over there. All right. So
You hit the light.
what you have in front of you is the proposed two. You actually have two things in front of you. You have a letter of agreement for the first phase, and then you actually have the residential subdivision builder agreement that outlines all of the phases that are proposed, and for the rest of the development as it stands. So, Darren, do you want to add anything for the board?
No, just very briefly, Christy, I think you did a good job of summarizing this. So we have two separate agreements. This is for partially developed subdivision. I think everyone's aware of that. And so what we've contemplated and been in discussions with Christy, Chris, David, and the developer and myself over the past couple months has been, how does this get addressed? Right now, the developer has, I believe, an exclusive right to purchase, is it 93 total lots, Andrew, through December 31st of 2029. I believe right now they hold title to 22. So I think the easiest way to summarize and distinguish between these two documents is, as Christy indicated, the development is contemplated in 4 phases. So each phase will have a separate LOC because the cost related with each phase are going to be different. There's going to be different type of work that needs to be done. So the letter of credit agreement, as written, is set to be valid for a period of 1 year. That can be renewed by agreement between us and the developer because things can happen over the course of a year. Just kind of have to see how it's going. Conversely, the subdivision builder agreement itself contemplates terms with respect to all 4 phases of the development, primarily locking in certain costs, primarily with respect to water connection fees and sewer connection fees. And that is in, this would be on page 2 of the builder agreement, sections 3.1 and 3.2. So I'm happy to address any general questions with respect to these agreements. I may, with respect to some of the details of work to be done, so on and so forth, have to defer to Chris or Andrew, but in terms of what's actually in here, I should be able to address anything.
You said 3 phases, is that what you said?
No, 4 phases.
4 phases?
Correct. Yep.
And that, then the initial first is 22 lots,
Right,
correct?
so if you look at the map that you have up there, the next phase is the one in orange, anticipated. And then the second is the yellow phase. And if I remember correctly, Andrew, green is the third and blue is the fourth.
So the orange section, we currently own a portion of these. The main concern or question that is in the letter of credit agreement would be on Hughes Parkway.
Yeah.
So all of the properties on Hughes Parkway would be going.
Yeah.
And so what we'd be contemplating, how this is written, is for each phase, which again are highlighted by separate colors, there'd be essentially a punch list that the village, primarily through Chris, would put together in terms of, okay, here are the improvements we think need to be completed as part of this particular phase. Then the developer would review those and prepare an estimated cost to the village, and then we would use that to determine the LOC amount for each particular phase.
So a new letter of credit would have to be provided for each phase.
Each phase.
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
And you set up to 29?
Through December 31st, 2029 is when they have the exclusive rights to purchase these.
And that was up 90 what?
93. That's all of the everything that you see there. That's highlighted in a different color. That's all of those lots.
1992. What about I don't know what sections, but there were some foundations that's been sitting there. Are those all be removed?
Yeah, actually,
I think there's 3 of them.
just built a house on lot 51, which we have satellite photos, but there was a foundation there.
Okay.
So we looked and looked and looked and never found it. So we think that they either pulled it in or dug it out. We don't know exactly, but we dug further than we needed to and never found it. So lot 51, we know for sure there was one there at one point. But yeah, and another one down the way. We've heard from some neighbors.
You know what?
Wait, let Andrew finish, please.
46 may have one, lot 46.
Okay.
But we have no.
I remember, I think we had Petrie dig those out because when Montalbano had, I think they did remove them.
Maybe somebody stole it.
No, they were holding water.
I thought there was still one there.
They were holding water,
When I
Jeff,
drove
remember?
through that.
Remember they were
So-
holding water?
So the other portion of this, as Darren pointed out, is the fees, contributions, and credits, right? So this subdivision has all of the sewer connections have been prepaid. We have confirmed that. So what you see in here is a water connection fee that we've negotiated with Andrew and his team.
Why don't you tell who is he and who is he from?
So that's Andrew over there from New Leaf.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay, but wanted to call out we determined to be at $1,500 per connection fee.
Can I ask how you came up with that number?
Sure, so we looked back at the history of the subdivision, the last development agreement that was in place in 2019, this is the rate that was also in that agreement. We looked at, we went back and forth for quite a while because we talked about all sorts of other possibilities. And came to this number being the most pertinent, especially after the fact that there are 14 homes that were built under the impression that all of the fees were all paid. And so that had to go back and kind of do some recalculating on New Leaf's side. So.
So what is it now for, if I want to go in there and build a home, it's how much for a connection?
1,500.
For you, 5,000.
But I'm just saying, that's to anybody. So if someone wanted to come in and buy some other lots, they're gonna pay the same, or they have to negotiate?
They have to negotiate, right? And right now they're not going to, if they have like rights, I guess, but they'd have to give them permission, I guess, to do that.
Well, that's why I'm playing devil's.
So that locked in for all 4 phases?
Yes, the $1,500
Yep.
is locked in.
Under the assumption they exercise their right.
Right.
That's why, so.
It'd be good to see that get done.
Yeah, so I also, is clear that, that they're taking on all of the roadway structure, right, that needs to be taken care of out there. So, and we'll continue to maintain the water and sewer as we have, that's already in the ground. And Chris can elaborate on that more.
Yeah, I'll just hit on that stuff. So the water and sewer that's out there, it's been flow tested. Dave's made sure all the valves are working. If there's a valve box that was hit by a lawnmower, that's our responsibility to fix and take care of, prior to the house getting built. So we basically accepted, the water and sewer improvements back when the subdivision was built. There were operating permits that were issued by EPA on the water system. So it's, those are ours. The other thing I want to say is, and we, years and years ago, on what was it, 2017, I think, maybe 2016, when we first started working in the subdivision, I think the roads out here right now are 20 years old. Okay. The pavements out there is 20 years old. We're not starting with ideal conditions. Back in the day, there should have been a lot of things done to make sure we never got to this day, right? Those things weren't done, so here we are. We're dealing with the infrastructure that's out there the best way we can. If speaking from the engineer in the room, if I had it my way, we would blow up the pavement and we would get down to stone and we'd start all over again. But that's just really not financially feasible to continue the work in the subdivision. So we're going to go through and we're going to clean things up to the maximum extent practical and get infrastructure out there that we think is going to last, a good long time. I've been really pleased with how the work that we did back in 2017 has held up. Honestly, I didn't think it would hold up nearly as well as it has. So, but I want to make everybody aware, we're starting with a canvas that's already got some serious paint marks on it, and we're going to paint over it the best we can.
So where is our line of roads? You know how that was blocked off?
Yep.
Is that, so everything where that is?
Pretty much all the color you see, Jeff, on the map, everything to the north and east of that is blocked off.
Yeah, the only on this map, the only areas that have their second, lift of road right now is the very bottom portion of Clark Court, the incoming Hill Street to Hughes, and it ends.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's on the bottom corner of the screen. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Yeah, so that section of Hughes and it stops as you go down the street before you get to Olson. And then you have Birch, a portion of Sycamore, Oak, and then a portion of Westergren that has a second. Everything else does not have the second lift of road. So, for clarity.
I know there's a lot of trees uprooting the curb.
Yeah, and they've been taking them out. They've been looking at them, getting them down to what they can, and they'll take out what they have to and fix what Chris goes out and marks. And
yeah, so the area in yellow, we've gone out, we've marked. I want to, say how good it's been working with New Leaf on this. You guys have spent a lot of time and effort to go out and get stuff cleaned up to the point that we could actually go out and start marking things and figuring out what needs to be done. So it's been it's been really a collaborative, good working relationship.
I'll mention the yellow area. Technically, we don't own that area yet, but looking forward to having Chris have an opportunity to go out there, we went and kind of clean the streets, pull the trees out behind the curb, and then working with David Howe, using some herbicide to kill off some of those trees just to kind of clear up the area a little bit.
They took the trees out from within the pavement too. There's quite a few.
And what's your initial plans to clean up the front of the subdivision along 173? That's been bugging me for years. I don't understand why. But now you guys are gonna come in and build 90 homes, hopefully. So I would imagine it's gonna be part of your due diligence to clean up the subdivision to make it presentable for future
Truthfully,
buyers.
that is not, because that is 2 or 3 phases out, that has not been a conversation yet.
Really? Surprised. It's a nice subdivision, but I just don't understand why it's just never maintained along. And I had a thing with Petrie who sat here one night and said, "Oh yeah, we'll clean it up." He never did.
okay, does that negatively impact this development
No,
agreement?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna help for people coming.
Yeah, I mean-
look at homes and buy homes. Because like Olson Woods, it's the same, builders. It's nice and clean and mowed and maintained.
I think overall, we're trying to be as strategic as possible with every
Right.
dollar that we're spending. And because that brings up all the development costs as a whole, so
I get it.
that's something that we're, again, haven't really talked about
No, I'm glad you guys are coming in and saving this subdivision. It's got a lot of potential. It does.
Are there any other questions about the two documents that you have in front of you?
No more questions about the two documents in front of me. Just see that cleaned up in front.
It wasn't just aimed to you,
No,
Jeff.
Long form, Jeff?
I wanted to make sure that any of your fellow trustees had an opportunity to speak to.
let me turn my microphone on now.
Okay. Please.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
and so
Let's
barring,
hit the Joe.
okay, so barring none, no additional questions? Roll call, please.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Owen Costanza, Dave Allgood.
Yes.
New Leaf Development Agreement passes. All right, for the good of the village, Village Hall is closed on Good Friday, April 3rd. Board of Trustees meeting April 8th and April 22nd at 7 p.m. Frontier and Surf will be performing utility work throughout the village starting in April. Signs will be posted. Look to social media on our website for details once the work begins. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wow, hang on. Motion by Dave, second by Jeff. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 8:43 p.m.
And I'm not staying with you. Unless you've got alcohol, then I'm staying. You can join me.
Sure, we can figure that out. But then how you getting home?
Ooh, I was getting toasty. That's today. What?
Nice vehicular device. Nice vehicular device.
954.
What's so secret?
I use it to hold my brain.
Good night, Jake.